Well, thank you for joining me on today's walk. And we're going on walk number 23, Mam Tor and the Great Ridge. This is definitely one of the walks I've been looking forward to for a long time. Ever since I picked up the book, The Collins Rambler's Guide to the Peak District. This is a level 3 difficulty walk. And this is another one of those examples where the book has got the details wrong. So, according to the book, this is a 7-mile walk. But then when I looked at the altitude map that would show us the peaks, that said it was about a 7-kilometre walk. So it's another example where they've taken the measurement in kilometres and then just written it down wrong. So I've mapped it out this morning, pretty much bang on 5 miles. So it's about 8 kilometres. So the book isn't too far off. It's probably just the extra bit from the car park that it's probably making it up to the 8 kilometres rather than 7. But this should be a fairly steady walk because it's all beautifully paved out. You can see the rest of the Great Ridge ahead of me that I'm going to be walking along. I have got some food to cook. I may not cook it up here. I may try and find somewhere later on to cook. And it's been a long time coming, I'm going to cook some steak. So the peak that I'm leaving behind is called Mam Tor, which they believe is from the Celtic, meaning Mother Mountain. I think because of how much it dominates the landscape, it's almost a peaceful, reassuring place to be. And they think there's a settlement, or potentially remains of a settlement up there, where they think that it wasn't necessarily that people lived there all the time, but it was a great place to build something, to be able to look out across all of their lands and keep an eye on their animals and stuff like that, which is pretty cool. But I'm now heading to in the distance, that peak there, and the peak is called Hollins Cross. So we've got a little bit more of a uphill to do, but not loads. It's all beautifully paved out, as you can see. It's a good day, beautiful. There's Mam Tor that we came from. Can just about see, just not too far in the distance, Winnet's Pass and the lovely village of Castleton, and yeah, Hollins Cross. And I think we'll see when I do the walk, but there's a tiny little peak in the distance. I'm not sure whether that's Loose Hill. We'll find out as we get there. So just leaving behind us Back Tor, which was quite a climb to get up to. Short enough, but quite a climb. I got tired by the time I got to the top of it. But those spectacular little stone towers that people have built, that I added to. Absolutely glorious, and we'll head back there shortly because up ahead of me I've got the final peak to head towards. So this is Loose Hill. I don't know whether you can also see just in the distance there's another peak there, which is what I thought maybe we were heading to, but I believe now, looking at the map, that that's Win Hill, which will be next week's video, or certainly the next Peak District walk I do is taking on Win Hill. But right now, final peak before I start the long journey back again up to Loose Hill. Here I am then, at the top of Loose Hill. Spelt Lose Hill, but pronounced Loose Hill. And this is the end point of the first half of this walk, from Mam Tor in the distance behind me, all the way along the Great Ridge, and here to the end point, Loose Hill. I'm just going to stop for a break for a bit, have some water, have a little snack. It took me about an hour to get to this end, so it should hopefully be an hour back. Nice little walk. Some challenging bits so far, but all good. And then at some point I've got to figure out where and when I make this steak. We'll see. Just passed through Hollins Cross. It was the crossing point for coffins from the village of Edale, which is on this side somewhere. Any people who died in Edale and the local area that were going to be buried at Castleton were brought up the hill, up to this sort of vaguely low point in the ridge, and then down the other side into Castleton in the distance. So it was the crossing point for the coffin route. Slightly morbid, but that's what it was. Just on the final approach to Mam Tor now. Oh, I'm enjoying this walk. definitely looks like there's another ridge line you could follow along that ridge as well. Interesting stuff. Right, full transparency, I am cooking at home. I thought about cooking out on the walk, and there were a lot of signs up about no open fires, no barbecues, no stoves. So by the time I finished the walk, I just decided I would come home and cook at home. So I've got a bit more space, I've got a bit more time, and I'm going to be making this fantastic steak sandwich. It's something I've seen Sam the Cooking Guy do, you know, one of the people I really enjoy watching cooking. It's a garlic bread steak sandwich. So I've caramelized some onions. I'm then going to, I'm not sure what order I'm going to do it in. I think I might well cook the steak first, and then I'm going to toast, using the frying pan still, I'm going to toast the bread. I'm going to have buttered it with some garlic butter that I've made. But yeah, I'll talk you through all the stuff in a second. And then when I've had it and when I've eaten it, we'll cut back to the past Dave, who's out on the walk, still enjoying finishing off, coming down from Mum Tour, and we'll see what he thought of it. We'll see if there was any truth to what I did. But yeah, I didn't want to cook out on the trail today, so I'm cooking at home, and I've even got my dog with me, which is quite cool. Although I think that's just because she can smell the steak that's on the go. Anyway, back to the cooking. Okay, I've got a massive. Oh, put my hand too near the fire. Oh God, really hot. I've got a massive piece of rump steak that I'm going to oil the steak, season with salt and pepper, and then stick onto a very hot pan. Okay, so I've oiled, salt and peppered the steak. Rather than oiling the pan, I've oiled the steak. Just very, very simple. I'm going to let that pan get hot, and then I'm going to cook this rump steak for about a couple of minutes on each side, no more than that. I can already see the pan is starting to smoke. Doesn't need much. You can see already the colour rising from the base of it. Maybe about another 30 seconds, I think. I want that colour on it. Okay, I'm going with that. And then the last thing I've got to do is to toast off the bread. I might just deglaze the pan with a bit of water, so we've got a good fresh start. Right, I'm going to stick with that. Looking good. We'll stick that to one side just to rest. Right, just going to deglaze the pan. Just going to lift some of the residue off. And the fire's gone out, so it's a good time to stop, let it cool down and refuel. Okay, I've made some garlic butter, just using just a piece of salted butter. Inside there's some finely chopped, 1 clove of finely chopped garlic, and then just a little bit of mixed herbs. If I'd had just parsley, I would have probably put parsley in, but the plan is I will spread this garlic butter on one side of the bread. Let's have a look. I don't want to burn it. I don't want to burn it. Come on. Oh yeah, baby. Oh, I've just caught that before the garlic got too burned. Oh man. And hopefully the butter that's run off into the pan will cook the other side. Gimme, 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 gimme some steak. It has kind of, yeah, I can feel it's kind of toasted. It's still soft in places, but hopefully the other side I can give it a bit longer. But again, I don't want to burn it. The last thing I want is burnt. Oh, only just starting to go. Yeah, just to say caught it in time. Let me see, I've only just to say caught it. Cool, that's the pan done. Time to put this together. So a slice of garlic bread onto there. I've made some, I don't know, I guess it's almost a bit like a burger sauce, but it's about 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise, half a tablespoon of HP sauce, and it was about half a teaspoon of Dijon mustard, just mixed together with a bit of salt and pepper, just to make a really delicious, it's almost sweet and quite vinegary. It's nice. That's probably way too much, but hey, I don't care. I'm going crazy today. Onto there, we'll put our steak. Oh, yeah. And then top it with some fried onions. And a spill over the side. The rest will just get eaten by me. Finally, the last piece of garlic bread. And there we have it. The garlic bread steak caramelized onion sandwich. I'll give that a chop. I'm pretty happy with that. Oh, time to taste it. Right then, time to try this absolute feast. I cannot wait. It's really tough. A steak sometimes can be. It was a rump steak, but it's a mess, but it is delicious. Best skip back to pastime, Dave. See what he thought of it. Catch you next. Well, what a fantastic steak sandwich that was. Really looking forward to doing that again another time. That'll be awesome. Got a tiny little bit of the journey left to go now. Only about a quarter of a mile, just back to the car. Thank you so much for joining me on today's adventure. This has been like one that I've waited to do for such a long time, to do it at the right point in the journey. But I've now definitely got to the end of all the amber walks. The Mam Tour and the Great Ridge, walk number 23, the level 3 difficulty walk, 5 miles that we've just done today. That is the last of the amber walks. Everything else is red from here on in. So next time you join me for a Peak District walk, it might be next week's video, might be the week after, I'm going to be doing walk number 24, Win Hill. We saw it in the distance on the walk, so I know it's not far away from here. So I'll be back out here again at some point soon. My schedule's pretty ridiculously busy at the minute with work and rehearsing for the shows that I'm doing and stuff, the musicals that I'm involved in. So busy lad, but I'll make it work, and I can't wait to try and tackle some of the reds now. Things like Win Hill, Kinder Scout. Yeah, there's some biggies to do, but I'm looking forward to it. Anyway, thank you for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, please do subscribe. And anyway, as always, see you in the next one. Well, it's a shame the sandwich didn't quite work out as I intended. Things to think about for next time.